Tucker Carlson has just hosted a man called Daryl Cooper on his show, describing him as maybe the best and most honest popular historian in the United States.
I actually think there's, in some ways, a more insidious and dangerous place where it's also coming from religion, which is this woke right crazies. The Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, Jake Shields. And I think you know my history with Candace Owens and her craziness and Nick Fuentes. These people they're just, in Yiddish we have a word, mashugana. And they know nothing about their own theology.
I am a Christian. I am not Jewish, okay? I have a problem with a Jewish person saying that certain people don't understand their theology, and I understand that that person is saying it, and I understand. I am realizing that the person is saying it because my Christianity is not Judaism part 2.
I shall not criticize the woke right. Few people now remember what the word woke meant before it became an insult. These days, it is used by those of us who believe...
So why don't you remind people what the word woke meant before it became an insult? Oh. Are we agreeing now that the word woke didn't always mean what it means today? Oh, is it okay to talk about that now, Constantine Christen? Kissing? I don't know your name. Full transparency, I don't like this guy. I don't like anything about this guy. I think he sucks horrendously. But let's go ahead and listen to him tell us about the new term now, guys, the woke right.
Even reality to mock the lunatic fringe of the left, but it was not always thus. While the word has come to mean an ideology obsessed with victimhood, identity, and the falsification of history to suit today's political agenda, those who once proudly called themselves woke intended something else. It was, at that time, a self-congratulatory label, which meant, first and foremost, being aware of and actively...
Okay, so he's going to tell us that, yes, it is being aware of the government coming after you. So now we really can talk about this. Where was this in the timeline? Because when I came into the right wing, if you will, whatever they call it these days, I was like, but that's not what woke is. Woke isn't like homosexuality and like crying about being black all the time. I was like, woke is just like, I'm awakened to what's going on. But nobody would ever explain it that way because it was co-opted. And now I realize it was co-opted for the machine. So anyway, we'll let him break it down some more.
Attentive to important facts and issues, especially in relation to racial and social justice. As has been discussed ad nauseum, in practice what this awareness of facts pertaining to various forms of justice meant was a framework in which certain groups were victims and other groups were victimizers. Some groups were suffering, and their suffering was the responsibility of other groups which had conspired to mistreat and take advantage of them. But a conspiratorial worldview of this nature cannot be maintained on faith alone. Explanations had to be given for why this false narrative was in fact not false at all. First, and highly relevant to our imminent discussion of the woke right, the woke left never claimed that the arguments they were making were true. Instead, rather than attempting to prove the impossible, they wisely made an entirely different claim. Truth, they argued, is merely a linguistic projection of power.
Guys, if you like this video, and I'm sorry to bore you because I find him very boring, but there's a point that he's getting to, and I'm trying to get there with you guys. But if you like this video, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and the notification bell. So what he did there, now all of a sudden he's giving validation to this left-wing wokeism and all of that. But he's telling you that, you know, back then, if you ask somebody for evidence of their wokeness, of their social justice, disparagement, whatever, you were automatically labeled some sort of racist or hater or bigot, right? So I guess that's what he's explaining.
The powerful brainwash the rest of us into seeing the things they want us to believe as the truth. To claim that something is true is to abuse the power you have over others. It is an act of linguistic violence. This is why if you were to assert that you know how many genders there are, or quote facts about contentious social issues, such as police violence against minorities, that would be used as evidence of your poor character and nefarious intent. All it showed was your bias, fragility, and so on. If this sounds a little abstract, a more concrete and even more relevant example is what the wokesters did to history. They attempted to destroy, both physically and reputationally, anything about the past that served as a reminder of the achievements of our society. Statues were torn down. And
yes, we know the statues were torn down. I was vehemently against all that. You know what I mean? So I totally get that. So why don't we get to the point of exactly the point of this whole discussion here, because there is a point. You know, this isn't for no reason.
There is another select group of people, us, who understand what's really going on, and we're bravely raising awareness of the issue. Anyone who disagrees with us or criticizes us is doing so because they're a bad person, and their criticism and disagreement just proves that we are right and they're bad. The woke revolution which occurred over the last 10 years was bad enough. But the iron law of reality is that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Having lived through a decade of this race Marxism which spread through our elite institutions like an aggressive cancer, I believe we're now witnessing the emergence of an equivalent phenomenon on the fringes of the right. Tucker Carlson has just hosted a man called Daryl Cooper on his show, describing him as maybe the best and most honest popular historian in the United States. Cooper, who goes by the online moniker Martyr Maid, is indeed incredibly honest. In addition to thinking that Adolf Hitler, a genocidal mass murderer, strolling through the Paris he had just conquered is highly preferable to drag queens, Cooper also explained that Churchill was the chief villain of World War II. The thread he posted on X following his interview with Carlson is so historically illiterate that every major claim he made was debunked on X itself with
Nope. It was debunked, yes, with community notes. All right, we've gotten to the crux, the meat and potatoes of this show. And you already know, guys, that when I speak, I'm going to talk about the inconvenient truth. We're bringing the astro. We're doing all of it, right? And the thing is, like, I'm at the point where, like, you know, especially after the last week of all the roasting, I love the roasting. I love it. I'm like, you know what, dog, like, let's dabble in this and let's really talk about things for what it is. Community notes does not mean that the person got something wrong. Community notes are fully subjective, okay? Because now the people who are writing community notes on this guy, they're not really providing, you know, like they're not saying anything. They're just, like, look at this one. The quote misses important context that Churchill mentions about Hitler. And then they give you a link. But this isn't a community note. You'd have to go back, read the whole thing, and probably still come back to the same point that he's making. So that's not really doing, you know, dropping off a note. What happened is that people like him and Ben Shapiro have completely lost their mind when it comes to Tucker Carlson. They don't know what to do with themselves. Tucker Carlson simply had somebody on the show who was saying that, hey, there's the part of World War II that we kind of didn't talk about. People know it, but, like, you know, I don't think that everybody who knows it should have to take some sort of special class to know. Like, let's just have the conversations, bro. Like, let's throw everything out on the table. And if I'm saying anything that's not right, like, debate me. But instead they say that this guy's crazy. He's, you know, bizarre, the whole bit, right? But I didn't know that, you know, and I can't even say certain names, but I didn't know that the person who was heading that part of the army, the one that we beat, sent 6 letters of, you know, peace, trying to say, like, yo, like, let's make peace. We don't need to fight like this. Like, I didn't know that. They didn't teach me that in school, right? And you know what they taught you in school. And I'm not saying that, hey, I'm not saying, oh, now, you know, now, nothing is real. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there's a chunk of this that you people didn't tell me. That there's a chunk of this that people don't learn. You know, Dresden, hello. So when he says that this movement of the woke right, whatever they're calling the woke right, is based on a reaction to the left, no, it's not. They're already telling you what they want you to think. And I'm going to show you a tweet of somebody who I used to have a lot of respect for. I'm going to show you what they consider the woke right.
And overconfident fools. What is interesting is the warm welcome he received on Tucker Carlson's show and what that represents. The woke right, for which Carlson is the undisputed spiritual leader, is feeling its way to a logic of its own. It is far from being fully formed, but it goes something like this. You can't believe anything you're being told. Look how they lied to you about Trump. True. COVID. True. And Biden winning the 2020 election. False. What if they also lied to you about everything else? We don't claim to know the truth. We're just asking questions. But we know what the truth is not, whatever the elites are telling you. Look how triggered they are by us just asking questions. That's evidence of their bias and fragility. It proves we are right. This is where his
I can't stand him. So we'll just go right to the tweet.
I actually think there's, in some ways, a more insidious and dangerous place where it's also coming from religion, which is this woke right crazies. The Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, Jake Shields. And I think you know my history with Candace Owens and her craziness and Nick Fuentes. These people they're just, in Yiddish we have a word, mashugana. And they know nothing about their own theology. I mean, I was a professor with priests for years at Loyola. And they're using the theology incorrectly it's kind of like a woke right. Now, is that not also a manifestation of cultural Marxism in a different way, is in an inverse reflection? I mean, how does that relate into this dialogue?
Absolutely. I go back to I could go back to two major.
Let me tell you, a liar is when somebody who keeps on like looking around. James Lindsay is definitely engaging in that kind of behavior. Let's keep looking, and I'm going to explain to you exactly what just happened here.
Characters in Marxism, Karl Marx and Vladimir Lenin, to make the point very succinctly. Karl Marx, like I already said, starts the Communist Manifesto by saying that the movement of history is the contention of antagonistic classes. So you need antagonistic classes in conflict. And so if you can do as Vladimir Lenin said, is that the best way to control the opposition is to become the opposition yourself. If you can actually step into that space and make it so that you have two woke factions, a woke left and a woke right, that are the primary things fighting one another, the commies and the fascists, then normal people just get left in the wash. They're just not even there. So that actually churns what's called the dialectic, or of Karl Marx's dialectical materialism, but in this case in a cultural realm. So it's more like a dialectical cultural war.
Okay, that's enough gobbledygook. And this guy's face really bothers me. Let me tell you something. What they're calling the woke right, and as much as I can't stand what Candace has been doing lately, I think, but now she's kind of chilling, and I don't know, they banned or whatever. Like, because a lot of people make these movements about themselves. And so then it gets ridiculous because it's like, at the end of the day, like, we can't just make these things about ourselves. There's a lot going on, right? So I'm here to tell you that I don't make it about myself, except for the fact of making it about myself by answering to God. All right? And so because I answer to God, I have to tell you that what I'm going to say next is going to offend some people, but I have to stand with the truth. I am a Christian. I am not Jewish, okay? I have a problem with a Jewish person saying that certain people don't understand their theology, and I understand that that person is saying it, and I understand. I am realizing that the person is saying it because my Christianity is not Judaism part 2. I got into a debate with a Jewish person about this today. And listen, it is what it is. For them, it's like, you need to ask me about being Jewish. Literally, this is what this person was saying to me. You're talking about Christianity, but you haven't even talked to me yet about what it is to be Jewish. And I'm like, I've never talked to a Jew about what it is to be Jewish when I'm talking about Christianity. I don't have to. Right? I don't have to. I respect you, do your thing. Look, and the crazy thing is, we worship the same. I'm one of those Saturday Christians, right? So like Sabbath, the whole bit, like I get it. We don't do everything the same, by the way. Like I can turn the lights on and stuff like that. But, but the notion that I have to now, look at this guy's face. His face is, come on, y'all. This is Barclay. So he's not giving you the feeling of like, James, you better get it right. And is James not looking around to figure it out? Now he's trying to say that there's a puppet master for the woke left and the woke right that's trying to like work on the woke right and the woke left. Well, who would that be? Who does this benefit? Who's always on both sides, right? Like, it's cool, right? But there's a word that nobody wants to ever say: Zionism. Zionism is a real thing. Zionism is a machine. It is a machine. It just simply is. And as a Christian, I'm supposed to speak against it. It's not just a political Zionism, rather, I should say. Okay, the Israel lobby, all of that falls into it. So I do believe when James says that we're always supposed to be in a binary of arguing with each other and constantly, now we got woke left, woke right, and who's building a narrative around this, right? But when he says you don't understand your theology, and that's what's making you your so-called woke right, how is this acceptable, right? Because I know if I said, you don't understand your theology and you should have accepted Christ or else we wouldn't be in this mess. Oh, but I would be the bad guy. I'm not here to fight anybody, but I'm just saying that I have to be able to express my religion the same way that other people are allowed to express theirs. And I believe in that. I love America for that. But I'm not going to stay silent when people say stupid stuff. This is stupid stuff. Does everybody say it? No, of course not. But this one did. So I have an answer for it. And James Lindsay can keep taking his money. This isn't about money for me. This is not what this is about. Now, shout out to Carlin Borshenko, because she's the one who put this out. James Lindsay and Rabbi Barkley say that Nick Fuentes, Jake Shields, and Kenneth Owens are woke right cultural Marxists and imply that they're being paid by the woke left to create division, even though he has no evidence of that. That's exactly what they tried to do. But she doesn't notice that he takes it a step further and says, hey, they don't understand their Christianity because they're speaking out, like they're speaking against the Israel lobby. What does my Christianity have to do with a lobby? Right? That's the point. So let's not even make it about this. But when I see weirdos like this guy, he blocked me. He's Jewish too, by the way. Okay? Blocked me. I'm not going to sidestep my Christianity for anybody. This is not a channel that is about like evangelizing necessarily to people, and I'm not some tough girl, but don't back me into a corner. It's not going to work, because it didn't work when people tried to do it to me when I was black. I'm still black, right? When people try to back me into a corner and say, you're black, why are you voting Republican? You're black, why do you care about white people? You're black. And I went to bat. So it's never back. I can't be backed into a corner. And I'm at the point where, like, I don't care. Like, look, I'm not here to blow up any channels as far as like destroy channels and everything. I'm not here to do that, right? But like, yo, man, people need to start standing for something. It can't always be like, well, I'm not going to go this far. I'm not saying every episode I'm coming this hard all the time, but I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired of the plastic influential, the so-called plastic. I'm getting tired of the plastic so-called influential influencers who always keep everything that you need to know out of the conversation and keep telling you to punch the air, right? Let's keep it real if you dare to, but I do.